Hello again, my name is Diane and I design and make patchwork quilts, and this is the Sunday quilt or the rainbow quilt, and if you'd like to see how I've made this one, please continue watching. And the child that is born on the Sabbath day is bonny, blithe and good and gay. So I've bought this jelly roll. The fabric line is called Flutter, and as you can see there's a good range, rainbow colours. This is reading as blue, but it is a very deep purple, and this is reading as blue as it's actually more aqua. So I've managed to source some of this fabric in yardage, and I've ordered a Delft blue just to slip in there. So that's the fabric line. And I've got yardage that I'm going to cut into 2.5 inch strips, and that will be the background. So it's a cream with white scroll pattern. I've used that before, I like that. Each strip is 2.5 inches wide and 42 inches long, and you get 3 pieces of each colour. And I'm going to use a design called Courthouse Steps. It's a log cabin design variation. It's very easy. I'm not going to do a design for that, but I'll show you as I go. This is the view from my back door at the moment. We've just had a torrential downpour. I live in the heart of England and we are set for an Arctic blast. I think that's coming tomorrow. At the moment the sky is full of something, but so is my sewing room, and that's much more cheerful. Let me show you that. What did I tell you? A taste of the Caribbean. I think I fancy a cocktail at the moment. Anyway, I'll show you how I make these blocks. Moving on to the green now. If you're new to quilting, this Courthouse Steps block is a really nice one to get going with. It's not difficult, you just have to have straight seams, and if you use a jelly roll 2.5 inches wide, it grows really quickly. So I'll show you. I'm making 4 blocks across the rows of my quilt, and I've cut here 2 outside the background strips of fabric at 11 inches and the central part. This will be the hearth block in my quilt. They call it a hearth. Traditionally it's yellow or red, but you can put whatever you like in your quilt. So I'll join these together with a 1/4 inch seam, and then I'll show you the next step. I've sewn that and I've pressed it, always pressing the seams going out, and now I'm going to cut these the 2.5 inch ruler width. So there was a tiny slither left over. I put that extra in just for a little bit of wiggle room, and now I'm going to put green on opposite sides. And in the Courthouse Steps block, this is how you build it. It's always opposite side. So I'll put green across here, and then I'll put white down here. So you're always working on the opposite. And I'm using green on the outside of this green. It's the same fabric, because this green would only feature that tiny amount in the whole quilt, and I didn't think that was very fair on the green or any of the centre hearth ones, so I've added a little bit more. So I'll show you that. So I've sewn the white on each side, and then the one half has a green strip, and that fits next to the yellow that's already down. And then on this side we start moving into the aqua. So mine are different colours now because I'm working my way through the spectrum, the rainbow spectrum that I've laid out. Now it's beginning to come together. You can see the spectrum of colour starting up in the pale pinks, working its way down. So the next full block will be blue and the purple. But I'm waiting for the blue to come, so I can't make that block yet. And I've also ordered some grey and black today. So the way it starts with this half block along the top, that's the way I want the quilt to finish. So it'll finish with a grey and black. So it'll be a few days now before I can get on with this. But I've also decided to do something else with the layout, and I'll show you that. So what I've decided to alter is this solid line that runs across the block. at the end of each block. It forms a nice shape on the white, but I'm just not too keen on that solid line. So I could put a white strip between blocks and that will break up these lines, but then there'd be quite a lot of white in the quilt. So what I've decided to do is to add a little strip, and you can see here I've just put those there, placed those. And what I've done is echoed the colours, so you've got the bright green, and then you've got 3 rows of the darker green, and I've put 3 blocks, and then the bluey green, the blue, and then to break up that line I've put a white block. So I've done the same with the reds and yellows and up with the pinks, and I think that looks nice and bright, adds a nice balance to it. So that's where I'm going to go. So I can add these blocks to the end of 3. I'm not going to put them on the outside, but I'm going to add those, and then when the other blocks come I can finish the top. So what I'm doing now is to look at making a pieced back. I have some odds and ends of rainbow fabric, so I'm just going to piece them together and make a scrappy back. This lovely Delft blue has arrived this morning, so I'm just going to make those 4 blocks, and there they are, magically appeared before your very eyes. So the purple and the blue is finished, and I've put the inserts in, and I love the way that's looking. And you can just make out I've put a strip of white across the top. Now this quilt will be a lot wider than it will be deep after I've put the grey and black on, unless I extend the top and bottom, which I'm going to do. I'm going to put some blocks of colour at the top and then another strip of white. So I'm waiting for the grey and I'm waiting for the black, so that'll be here in a day or so. But look how lovely that looks. It's the most simplest block. It comes together really quickly and it's beautiful. It's nice to sew if you just want a bit of chill time. And this is the view from my back door this morning. The world in black and white. So as you can see, the black and the grey fabric came, and I completed those half blocks, and I made the border that went along the top and the bottom. If you look closely, you can see on the bottom where it's pink and pale, I started in the coloured border with the pink and the pale and went out to the dark, and on the other side where it's dark on the top, I started in the dark and went out to the warmer colours and to the pale pink, and I think that looks nice. So I'm going to quilt it in lines, just straight across, up and down, and I'll show you when it's finished. Here we go. We've got quilting that's well underway. Very simple straight lines, and I'm using the seam as a guide. So where there's a straight seam, I'm sewing away the width of a presser foot away, and the same on the other side, and then I'm just gauging the centre down the middle. And I have also put my little measuring guide on the side, so when I come across the big areas of white and where the seams aren't, I can just measure that seam width, follow the previous seams. It's coming together quickly, like I say, fantastic for beginners. Fantastic if you need a quick quilt in a hurry. I thought I had more pieces of rainbow fabric than I have, but I've used them anyway. There's only small amounts, just for a little bit of fun on the back. So it's all finished, it's quilted, it's bound, and I'm just waiting for the weather to break so that I can take a video and show you it finished. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe, hit the notification button, and
if you don't hear from me in the next few months, send a rescue party. I may have been blown somewhere. Thanks for watching. Bye.